Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, I want to talk about something that we often forget in our fast-paced world. A slow still counts. We live in a society obsessed with speed, instant results, and overnight success. Well, let me tell you something. Progress, no matter how small, still moves you forward. If you're moving even slowly, you're still ahead of the person who isn't moving at all. Let me tell you something. So many people fail before they even start because they're obsessed with perfection. They are waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect body, the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances. They look at the goals they want to achieve and immediately think, I can't do this because I'm not ready. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart. I'm not fast enough. I'm not fast. And what happens? They freeze. They stop. They quit before they even take one step. And that, my friends, is the problem. Too many people are waiting to be perfect instead of realizing that progress, not perfection, is what moves the needle in life. You see, the truth is, no one ever starts perfect. Nobody ever begins their journey with all the answers. Nobody begins with the perfect skills, the perfect mindset, the perfect confidence. Every champion, every entrepreneur, every great leader you look up to started from somewhere. And they started imperfectly, but they started. They took the first step. And that step, no matter how small, began their journey toward greatness. That's why I want to tell you today, your step counts, even if it feels small, even if it feels insignificant, even if nobody notices, even if it feels like it won't make a difference, it counts. Let me break it down for you. Imagine a person who wants to get in shape. They've never exercised a day in their life. They see people on social media running 5 miles every morning, lifting heavy weights, looking strong, looking fit, looking like they've always been at that level. And this person thinks, I can't do that. I'll never be like that. And so they don't start. They wait for the perfect body to start exercising. Well, here's the problem. The perfect body never comes first. You don't start with perfection. You start where you are. Maybe today you can only walk for 5 minutes. Maybe today you can only do 1 push-up. Maybe today you can only write 1 paragraph or make 1 phone call toward your goal. And that's okay. That's exactly where you're supposed to start. Because the truth is, small progress compounds over time. That 1 push-up today leads to 2 push-ups tomorrow. That 1 paragraph today leads to 3 paragraphs next week. That 1 phone call today leads to meetings, opportunities, and connections tomorrow. If you start, if you keep moving, if you take 1 step, no matter how small, you are building momentum, and momentum is everything. I want to emphasize this point because so many people don't understand it. They see other success and think it happened overnight. They see the person who has the dream job, the car, the house, the body, and they feel discouraged. But what they don't see is the thousands of tiny, imperfect steps that person took to get there. They don't see the days when that person failed, when they stumbled, when they fell, when they wanted to quit. They don't see the nights when nobody was clapping for them, when nobody believed in them, when nobody even knew they existed. What they see is the end result. And they think, I can't do that. I'm not ready. But here's what I want you to understand. The end result is the accumulation of imperfect progress. It's not perfection. It's persistence. It's showing up day after day, taking small steps in the process. Let me give you an example from the world of business. Take any successful entrepreneur you admire. They didn't start with a multi-million-dollar company. They didn't start with a team of experts. They didn't start with the perfect product or the perfect business plan. No, they started small. They made mistakes. They failed. They pivoted. They learned. And over time, those small steps, those imperfect efforts build something extraordinary. So if you're waiting to be perfect, you are already behind. If you're waiting to know everything before you start, you are already losing. But if you start today, even imperfectly, you are ahead of 90% of the people who never even tried. Here's another truth. Perfection is an illusion. The moment you believe you have to be perfect to succeed is the moment you give up your power. You give up your opportunity. You give up your chance to grow. Because growth comes from doing, from failing, from learning, from adjusting, from taking imperfect action. Nobody is born knowing how to do everything. Nobody is born ready to conquer their dreams. Everybody has to start somewhere. And that somewhere is almost never perfect. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's uncertain. But it counts. Every single step counts. Every effort counts. Every try counts. Every try counts. I want you to picture your goal right now. Maybe it's fitness. Maybe it's education. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's repairing a relationship. Maybe it's learning a skill. Now ask yourself, are you waiting to be perfect before you take action? Are you sitting on the sidelines watching others move, thinking, I'll start when I'm ready? Because let me tell you, you'll be waiting forever if you wait for perfect. The only way to get ready is to start. The only way to get experience is to experience it. The only way to grow is to grow from your mistakes. Start where you are. Start imperfectly. Start slow and keep going. I also want to talk about mindset. So often people focus on what they don't have instead of what they can do. They say, I don't have the skills. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the support. And that's true. You may not have all of those things, but you do have what it takes to take the first step. You have the ability to start small, to move slowly, to progress incrementally. And if you harness that, if you focus on what you can do instead of what you can, you will begin to see results. Small wins build confidence. Small progress builds momentum. Small efforts build skill. And before you know it, that slow and perfect progress becomes unstoppable forward movement. Let me tell you a story about a student I knew. He wanted to improve his grades. He wasn't failing, but he wasn't excelling either. He wanted straight A's, but he felt overwhelmed. He thought, I can't do it. I'm not smart enough. I'll never be able to handle it. But I told him, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Read one page a night. Solve one extra problem a day. Ask one question in class. Progress, not perfection. And he did it. He started slow, one step at a time, day by day. And by the end of the semester, he wasn't just passing, he was thriving. He realized that those small, imperfect steps were the real reason for his success. That is the power of progress, not perfection. And this applies to every area of life. Fitness, business, education, relationships, personal growth. It doesn't matter. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you will never move. But if you start, even imperfectly, even slowly, you are building a foundation for the future. Every step counts. Every effort counts. Every day counts. And over time, these imperfect, slow steps turn into massive results. I want you to hear me clearly. It's not about how fast you go. It's not about how perfect you are. It's about taking action and continuing to move forward. The person who moves slowly but consistently will always outrun the person who waits for perfection. The person who takes small steps every day will always achieve more than the person who waits for the perfect moment. Progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. Progress creates results. Progress builds confidence. Progress leads to mastery. So I want you to leave here today with this mindset. Stop chasing perfection. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop comparing yourself to others who seem ahead. Focus on your next small step. Focus on what you can do today. Write that one paragraph. Make that one call. Go for that one walk. Learn that one skill. And then do it again tomorrow and the next day. That is how you win. That is how you win. That is how you build momentum. That is how you turn slow, imperfect progress into unstoppable achievement. Let me finish with this. Remember that every champion you admire started imperfectly. Every success story began with a small, imperfect action. Nobody started as an expert. Nobody started as a master. Everybody started somewhere. And they progressed because they took action. They moved forward. They didn't wait to be perfect. And that, my friends, is why slow still counts. And progress beats perfection every single time. Keep going even when it feels slow. Keep pushing even when it feels small. Keep taking steps even when nobody is watching. Progress, no matter how tiny, will eventually take you places you never imagined. And if you embrace that mindset, if you live that truth, your life will change. Because slow still counts and every step you take matters. I want to talk to you today about something most people underestimate. The power of small wins. So many people are focused on the big picture, on the grand victory, on the ultimate dream. And they forget that all big victories are made up of tiny, consistent, intentional wins. Let me tell you something. Nobody wakes up one day and becomes a champion overnight. Nobody suddenly builds a multi-million-dollar business in a single moment. Nobody wakes up and is perfect at life or perfect at their craft. It all starts with small wins, and those small wins, when compounded over time, lead to massive, life-changing victories. Think about it. Look at any successful person you admire. The athlete, the entrepreneur, the leader, the artist, the student waits their exams. Every single one of them has a story. That story is full of small, incremental wins that nobody else saw. Nobody saw the hours they spent practicing when nobody was watching. Nobody saw the sacrifices they made, the early mornings, the late nights, the extra reps, the extra pages, the extra phone calls, the extra effort. And those were all small wins. One push-up today, one page today, one page today, one extra call today. That is what built their foundation. And over time, those small wins compounded into something enormous. That's why I say to you today, never underestimate the power of small wins. They are the building blocks of success. Let me give you an example from the world of sports. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan overnight. He wasn't born with perfect skills. He didn't step onto the court and immediately become a legend. No, Michael Jordan spent hours in the gym, practicing free throws, working on his jump shot, running drills, sweating while nobody was watching. Every single time he made one basket, improved his stamina, pushed a little harder. He was winning a small victory. Nobody saw it. People saw the final result, the championships, the MVP, the accolades. But the truth is those championships were made up of thousands of small victories over years. And that's the lesson for all of us. The big victory is never one giant leap. It's a collection of small, intentional, consistent wins. Now, let's bring it closer to home. Imagine you want to start a business. You're dreaming big, thinking about the $1 million deal, the brand, the recognition. But here's the problem. If you're only focusing on the big win, you might never get started. You might get discouraged thinking, I'll never get there. It's too much. I can't do it. But what if I told you that you don't need to make the $1 million deal today? What if I told you that all you need to do today is make one small win? Send one email. Make one call. Write one paragraph of your business plan. Research one competitor. That's it. One small win. And then tomorrow you do it again. And the next day you do it again. Those small wins will start to compound. They will create momentum. They will build your confidence. And eventually that $1 million deal, that big victory, that dream outcome becomes inevitable because you built it one small step at a time. I also want you to understand the psychological power of small wins. When you achieve something, even if it seems insignificant, it triggers a response in your brain. Your mind starts to believe. My mind starts to believe I can do this. Confidence grows. Motivation increases. You do even more. That's why small wins are so powerful. They create a chain reaction. One win leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, until eventually you're unstoppable. And here's the thing. Nobody can take away your small wins. Nobody can diminish the effort you put in. Every time you take action, every time you achieve something, you are building a foundation that nobody can take from you. Let me share a story of a young student I knew. This student struggled in school. He wasn't failing, but he wasn't excelling either. He wanted to improve, but he felt overwhelmed. I told him, don't focus on getting an A on the next exam. Focus on small wins. Read one extra page every night. Solve one extra problem every day. Ask one question in class. That's it. Focus on small victories. And he did. He started slow. One page, one problem, one question at a time. By the end of the semester, he wasn't just passing, he was excelling. He had created a chain of small victories that led to a big outcome. And that's the truth. Small wins lead to big victories. You might not see the results immediately, but if you keep stacking small wins, the results are inevitable. Another thing I want to emphasize is that small wins build momentum. Momentum is everything in life. When you're moving forward, no matter how slowly, it's easier to keep going. When you're consistent, when you're stacking small wins, momentum starts to work in your favor. Suddenly, what felt impossible becomes possible. Suddenly, what felt like a dream becomes reality. And the key to building momentum is not waiting for a giant breakthrough. It's focusing on the next small win, the next step, the next action, the next effort. That's how you create unstoppable movement toward your goals. I also need to address the fear of failure. So many people don't take action because they're afraid of failing. They think if I don't get it right, I'll be embarrassed. I'll be disappointed. I'll let people down. But here's the thing. When you focus on small wins, failure becomes less intimidating. One small win at a time doesn't feel like a huge risk. You can experiment, learn, adjust, and grow without fear. You're not trying to conquer the entire mountain in one day. You're climbing it one step at a time. And when you do that, failure stops being something to fear. It becomes a teacher. Every small win, every small action, even the ones that don't work perfectly, is a learning opportunity. And those lessons compound just like the wins do. Let's also talk about discipline. Small wins are the discipline that leads to greatness. Discipline is not doing something once and expecting miracles. Discipline is doing something consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is showing up and stacking small wins every day, even when nobody is watching. That's the secret to success. Most people think success comes from talent, from luck, from genius. But the truth is, success comes from small, disciplined actions repeated over time. And those small wins, those small actions create the life you want, even if it doesn't happen overnight. I want you to understand that small wins are not just about the outcome. They're also about the journey. Every small victory teaches you something. Every small win builds your skills, your knowledge, your resilience, your character. Every time you take action, you are becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. And that growth is just as important as the ultimate victory itself. Sometimes we get so focused on the destination that we forget to value the journey. But here's the thing, the journey is made up of small wins. The journey itself is what transforms you into the person capable of achieving a big victory. I also need to stress the cumulative effect of small wins. One push-up may not seem like much. One page may not seem like much. One extra call may not seem like, but when you do it consistently, when you do it daily, weekly, monthly, year after year, the results are exponential. That's the power of compounding effort. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. That's how dreams turn into reality. And it all starts with one small win. Just one. Now, here's a challenge for you. Identify one small win you can achieve today. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to impress anyone. It just has to move you forward. Write that paragraph. Make that call. Study that page. Practice that skill. Take that step. And then tomorrow, do it again. And the next day, do it again. Watch how those small wins add up. Watch how they build momentum. Watch how they transform your confidence, your skill, and your results. And remember, nobody else has to see it. Nobody else has to recognize it. This is for you. This is for your future. I want you to remember that small wins build belief. Every time you achieve something, even if it's tiny, your mind starts to believe you can do more. Every small win is a vote of confidence for yourself. And when you believe in yourself, when you trust your ability to take small steps, nothing can stop you. The obstacles, the doubts, the setbacks, they all become smaller because you know you can keep moving forward. One small win at a time. Finally, let me remind you of this. The big victories you dream of are waiting for you, but you will never reach them if you ignore the power of small wins. Big victories are not lightning strikes. They are the result of consistent, intentional, incremental progress. They are the result of small wins stacked over time. They are the result of discipline, patience, persistence, and belief in the power of each step. So don't overlook your small victories. Don't minimize your efforts. Don't think it doesn't matter. Every small win counts. Every small action counts. Every day counts. And if you embrace this mindset, if you commit to stacking small wins, there's nothing you cannot achieve. So go out there and start today. Identify your first small win. Take that action. Move forward. Stack another tomorrow and keep building, keep growing, keep winning. Because every small win leads to a bigger victory, and every step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to the life you've been dreaming of. Keep pushing, keep striving, keep believing. Small wins lead to big victories, and the sooner you start, the sooner you'll see the results. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the big break. Start now, start small, and watch how your small victories transform into extraordinary success. Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't understand in life. Consistency beats speed every single time. People are obsessed with going fast. They want instant results. They want overnight success. They want to see massive change in a week, a month, or a year. And when they don't get it, they quit. They give up. They lose faith. They think the problem is them. But let me tell you something. Success isn't about how fast you move. It's about how consistent you are. The person who shows up day after day doing the work, even if it's small, will always outpace the person who tries to rush, who looks for shortcuts, who is only motivated when things feel easy. Consistency beats speed, period. Think about it. Imagine two runners. One of them is fast. He can sprint 100 meters in record time, but he only sprints once a month. The other runner is slower. He can't match the speed of the first one, but he trains every single day. He runs every morning, rain or shine, without fail. Who do you think will win the marathon? Who will cross the finish line stronger, fitter, and more prepared? It's not the one who sprints once in a while. It's the one who is consistent over time. That's life. That's growth. That's success. You can be fast in bursts, but without consistency, speed alone doesn't get you anywhere. Let me break it down further. Consistency is about showing up when you don't feel like it. Consistency is about doing the work when nobody is watching. Consistency is about taking action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring, even when it's slow. People love the idea of success, but they hate the grind. They want the trophy, but they don't want the practice. They want the paycheck, but they don't want the work. They want the results, but they don't want the process. But here's the truth. The process is the only thing that leads to real, lasting results. And the process requires consistency. Let me give you an example from the world of sports. Take Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. You think she became that overnight? You think she suddenly woke up and could dominate every opponent? No, she trained consistently day after day for years. Early mornings, long practices, perfecting her serve, improving her footwork, building her strength. Nobody saw her waking up before the sun, hitting balls on the court, running drills, correcting mistakes. That was her consistency. And that consistency is what made her unstoppable. It wasn't a single fast sprint or a sudden breakthrough. It was showing up every day, over and over, no excuses. Now let's bring it closer to everyday life. Maybe you want to write a book, start a business, or get fit. Maybe you want to learn a new skill, improve your grades, or save money. If you try to rush, if you chase speed, you will burn out. You will get frustrated. You will give up. But if you commit to being consistent, even with small steps, the results will come. Writing one page a day adds up to a book. Saving a little money every week grows into financial security. Learning one new skill a day compounds into mastery. Consistency, not speed, is what creates real results. I want you to understand something about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, some days you don't. If you rely solely on motivation, you'll never be consistent. You have to develop discipline, the ability to show up regardless of how you feel. Consistency is born from discipline, not motivation. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you do over time. And that is why consistency beats speed. Speed. The slow, disciplined approach will always outperform a fast, sporadic one. Let me tell you a story about a young man I knew. He wanted to get in shape. He thought he needed to train like the pros, lift heavy weights every day, run miles and miles, and change everything in a week. And when he couldn't do that, he felt defeated. I told him, you don't need to do everything at once. You just need to be consistent. Start with a short workout every day, just 15 minutes. Do it every day without fail. That's it, and he did. Every day for months, he showed up. Sometimes he didn't feel like it. Sometimes he was tired. Sometimes he wanted to skip. But he did. He was consistent. And over time, his body transformed. He became stronger, healthier, more confident, not because he rushed, but because he was consistent. That's the power of showing up. That's why consistency beats speed. Let's also talk about habits. Habits are the building blocks of consistency. If you can develop the right habits, success becomes automatic. Brushing your teeth every morning is a habit. Drinking water, exercise, and reading, working on your craft. These are habits too. The person who consistently develops positive habits will inevitably achieve more than the person who occasionally pushes themselves in bursts of speed. Because habits create momentum. Habits create structure. Habits keep you moving forward, even when motivation is gone, even when the road is hard, even when life gets messy. And that's why consistency beats speed. It's not about one big push. It's about the habits you maintain every single day. I want you to understand something crucial. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through, every time you show up, you are proving to yourself that you are reliable, that you are committed, that you can handle the journey. And that trust grows. It fuels your confidence. It strengthens your character. And that inner trust, that inner confidence becomes unshakable over time. Speed might give you quick results, but it doesn't build character. Consistency does. I also need to talk about failure. Many people quit because they fail. They think that if they can't succeed immediately, it's over. But consistency changes your relationship with failure. If you are consistent, failure is no longer a reason to quit. It's a reason to keep going. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes an opportunity to adjust. And every obstacle becomes a chance to prove your commitment. Consistency turns failure into fuel because you keep showing up no matter what. You keep moving forward, even if it's slow, even if it's painful. And over time, that consistent effort will win. Think about the natural world. Nothing grows overnight. A tree doesn't become tall in a day. A flower doesn't bloom in a week. Success in life is like that. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes steady growth. Speed can't replace consistency. Water a plant every day, even if just a little. That's consistency. Over time, the roots grow strong, the trunk grows tall, and eventually, the tree becomes magnificent. That's how life works. That's how your dreams work. That's why consistency beats speed. Let me also remind you that consistency is cumulative. Every small action adds up. Every day you show up, you are building a foundation for tomorrow. You might not see the results immediately. You might not feel like you're making progress. But the truth is, every consistent effort, every small step, every act of discipline is stacking on top of the last. And one day when you least expect it, the results will show up in a massive way. That's the power of consistency. That's the magic of showing up every single day. I want to give you a challenge today. Identify one area of your life where you want to see change. It could be fitness, education, business, relationships, personal growth, whatever it is. And commit to consistent action in that area every single day, no matter what. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big, but it has to be consistent. Show up, do the work, repeat, and watch how over weeks, months, and years, your consistent effort transforms your life. That's how real success is built. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. That's why consistency beats speed. Remember this, speed will get you temporary results. Speed might give you a short-term high. Speed might make you feel like you're making progress. But without consistency, speed will fade. Without consistency, the results won't last. But consistency, daily, intentional, disciplined effort creates results that endure. It builds momentum, it builds skill, it builds character, and it creates unstoppable progress toward your goals. Finally, let me leave you with this truth. If you are consistent, you will always win in the long run. It doesn't matter if you start slow. It doesn't matter if you're not the fastest. It doesn't matter if it feels like everyone else is ahead of you. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep taking action, and keep moving forward. Consistency beats speed because it creates progress that lasts. It creates results that multiply. It creates a life that reflects your effort, your discipline, and your commitment. So go out there, show up every day, do the work, and be patient. Keep moving forward even when it's slow. Keep showing up even when it's hard. Keep taking consistent action even when nobody is watching. Over time, those small, consistent steps will take you farther than any burst of speed ever could. Consistency beats speed. Remember that? Live that, apply that, and watch how your life transforms beyond anything you ever imagined. Let me tell you something that so many people struggle with in life. Comparison kills your pace. I want you to hear me loud and clear on this. If you are constantly looking at what other people are doing, measuring yourself against them, or worrying that you are behind, you are sabotaging your own progress. You are taking your focus off your journey and you are giving your energy to someone else's race. And here's the truth. Your race is yours alone. Nobody else can run it for you, and nobody else's success diminishes your ability to succeed. Yet so many people waste their time, their energy, their confidence by comparing themselves to others, and that, my friends, is one of the fastest ways to kill your momentum. Think about it. Social media has made comparison a daily habit for so many people. You scroll through your feed and you see someone with the perfect body, the perfect relationship, the perfect job, the perfect lifestyle, and immediately you feel like you are behind. You feel like you are behind. You feel like you need to rush to catch up, to do more, to achieve faster. And what happens? You lose your pace, you get distracted, you get frustrated, you get discouraged. Comparison robs you of your focus, your energy, and your confidence. And if you let it, it will destroy your progress before you even get started. I want you to understand something crucial. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone has different starting points, different challenges, different timelines, and different resources. What works for someone else might not work for you. What they have achieved might not be available to you right now. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you are failing. That doesn't mean you are behind. That simply means you are on your own path. And your pace, no matter how slow it feels, is enough if you stay consistent and focused. Comparison kills your pace because it makes you forget your own journey. Let me give you an example. Imagine two runners again. One of them is fast. He has been running for years, training consistently, and he looks like he is miles ahead. The other runner is just starting out. Maybe he is slower. Maybe he struggles. But if the second runner spends his time looking at the first runner, feeling frustrated or discouraged, he loses his focus. He loses his focus. He might stumble. He might give up. He might even quit before he reaches the finish line. But if he ignores the other runner, focuses on his own steps, and keeps moving forward, he will eventually cross the finish line. Comparison kills your pace, but focus accelerates it. The only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. I want to share a story about a young man I knew. He was constantly comparing himself to his peers. He saw them getting promotion, getting recognition, getting opportunities, and he felt like he was failing. He thought, oh, why am I not there yet? Why is everyone ahead of me? And because of that, he was constantly stressed, constantly frustrated, and his own progress slowed down. I told him to stop looking at them. Stop comparing. Focus on your own growth, your own steps, your own journey. Your time will come if you work consistently and stay disciplined. And guess what? Once he shifted his mindset, once he stopped comparing, he started making real progress. He regained his focus. He regained his confidence. And eventually, he achieved more than he ever imagined. That's the power of ignoring comparison and running your own race. Comparison also breeds unnecessary stress. When you measure yourself against others, you are living in a state of constant pressure. You feel like you need to do more, be more, achieve more, and keep up with everyone else. And that pressure is paralyzing. It leads to anxiety, self-doubt, and burnout. But when you focus on your own path, on your own pace, you free yourself from that stress. You can move at your own speed, make your own mistakes, learn your own lessons, and still reach your destination. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your peace, and your progress. Don't let it. I want you to understand something. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Did you take a step forward, even a small one? Did you improve, even just a little? That is what matters. Forget about what anyone else is doing. Forget about their successes, their timelines, their achievements. Focus on your next step. Focus on your own growth. Comparison kills your pace, but self-focus accelerates it. Let's bring it closer to home. Maybe you want to start a business, write a book, get fit, or improve your life. Maybe you are just starting out and you see people who are already ahead of you. Don't let that discourage you. Their journey is not your journey. Their speed is not your speed. Their success is not your success. You are on your own path, and every small step you take is moving you closer to your goal. Every day you show up, every effort you make Every bit of progress you achieve is a win. And if you stay consistent, if you stay focused, you will reach your destination in your own time. I also want to emphasize this. Comparison limits your creativity. When you focus on what others are doing, you are copying, imitating, and trying to fit into someone else's mold. You are not creating your own path. You are not discovering your own strengths. You are not learning how to leverage your unique skills and talents. Comparison kills your pace because it distracts you from your own gifts. When you focus on yourself, when you focus on your own growth, you unleash your true potential. You find solutions, you innovate, you create, and you achieve success on your own terms. Think about it like this. Every tree grows at its own rate. Some trees grow fast, some trees grow slow, but each tree grows according to its own rhythm. And if a tree tried to grow at the same rate as another tree, it would never thrive. It would break, it would struggle, it would fail. Life works the same way. You have your own rhythm, your own timeline, your own process. Comparison kills your pace because it makes you forget your rhythm. It makes you rush. It makes you doubt yourself. But when you embrace your own journey, you grow at your own pace, and your growth is sustainable and real. I also want to talk about mindset. Comparison creates a scarcity mindset. You think if they succeed, that means there's less for me. If they win, that means I lose. But success is not a zero-sum game. There is enough for everyone. There are enough opportunities, enough achievements, enough victories. When you focus on your own journey, you cultivate an abundance mindset, you focus on what you can do, what you can achieve, and how you can grow. Comparison kills your pace because it traps you in scarcity. Self-focus accelerates your pace because it opens up possibilities. Let me also share this truth. Comparison kills your confidence. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you start to believe you're not good enough. You start to doubt your abilities. You start to question your worth. And when your confidence is gone, your pace slows. You hesitate, you procrastinate, you stall. But when you stop comparing, when you focus on your own growth, your confidence returns. You trust yourself. You trust your process. You trust that your consistent efforts, your unique journey, and your perseverance will lead to success. Confidence fuels pace. Comparison kills it. I want you to remember that your journey is unique. The challenges you face, the opportunities you encounter, the lessons you learn, they are all yours. You can't skip steps. You can't borrow someone else's path. And if you try to compare, you will always feel behind. But if you focus on your own steps, your own wins, your own progress, you will accelerate at your own pace. You will achieve more than you imagine because you are not distracted by other people's journeys. Now, here's something practical I want you to do. Every time you feel yourself comparing, pause. Ask yourself, am I focusing on my own growth or am I wasting energy looking at someone else? Remind yourself that your race is yours alone. Remind yourself that every small step you take counts. Remind yourself that consistency, focus, and dedication to your own journey will always pay off. And then take action. Take the next step. Keep moving forward. Don't worry about the person next to you, the person ahead of you, or the person behind you. Your pace is perfect because it's yours. Let's bring it back to action. Maybe today you feel behind because someone else seems ahead. Maybe you feel frustrated because your progress feels slow. Maybe you feel discouraged because the path looks harder than theirs. Stop, breathe, look at your journey, look at your steps. Celebrate the progress you've made, no matter how small. Focus on the next step you can take. That is how you regain your pace. That is how you reclaim your focus. That is how you win. Comparison kills your pace, but self-focus restores it. Finally, remember this. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Did you take one step forward, even a small one? Did you improve even just a little? That's what matters. Forget the timelines, forget the achievements, forget the social media posts. Focus on your own steps, your own wins, your own journey. Your pace is yours, and when you honor it, you will achieve more than you ever imagined. So go out there, stop comparing, stop measuring yourself against others, and start focusing on your own path. Move at your own pace. Take your next step and keep going. Consistency, focus, and belief in your own journey will take you farther than comparison ever could. Comparison kills your pace. Self-focus accelerates it. Run your race. Your victory is waiting. Let me talk to you about something that is missing in so many people's lives today. Patience over panic. Everybody wants results fast. Everybody wants instant success. Everybody wants to see immediate rewards for their hard work. And when those results don't come quickly, panic sets in. People start rushing. They start forcing things. They start making mistakes. They start doubting themselves. They start thinking, oh, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe it's not working. Maybe it's not working. Maybe I should give up. And that, my friends, is the problem. Panic never leads to progress. Patience does. Success doesn't come from panic. It comes from consistent calm, focused effort over time. I want you to understand something about patience. Patience is not passive. Patience is not sitting back and doing nothing. Patience is active. Patience is discipline. Patience is the ability to trust the process while you keep showing up, even when you don't see immediate results. Patience is the secret ingredient that separates those who succeed from those who quit too soon. The truth is, good things take time. Great things take longer. The best things in life are worth waiting for. But if you panic, if you rush, if you try to force things, you destroy your chances of achieving what you really want. Think about it. You're trying to build a skill, start a business, or achieve a goal. You work hard. You work hard. You give your effort. You do everything you're supposed to do. But the results don't come immediately. And what happens? Panic sets in. You question your ability. You question your strategy. You question the whole process. And because of that panic, you make hasty decisions. You cut corners. You abandon what was working. You start looking for shortcuts. And guess what? That panic often destroys the very progress you were building. Patience, on the other hand, allows you to stay the course, maintain focus, and trust that your efforts will compound over time. Let me give you an example from the world of sports. Think about a long-distance runner preparing for a marathon. You don't run 26 miles the first day. You don't even run half of that. You train incrementally, day by day, week by week. You build endurance slowly. You increase your mileage carefully. You learn to pace yourself. And when the race comes, your preparation pays off. But if you panic and try to run the full marathon the first week, you will collapse. You will injure yourself. You will give up. Patience over panic is the difference between training smart and burning out. It's the difference between sustainable growth and reckless failure. Now let's bring it closer to everyday life. Maybe you are trying to grow your career. Maybe you are trying to start a business. Maybe you are trying to improve yourself physically or mentally. Maybe you are trying to heal from a setback or recover from a failure. If you panic, you might make rash choices. You might quit the job before you're ready. You might invest in the wrong opportunity. You might push your body too hard. You might give up on personal growth because the results are not immediate. But if you practice patience, if you trust the process, if you focus on the next step, the next action, the next opportunity, your progress will be steady, sustainable, and real. I want to share a story about a young woman I knew. She was building her career, working tirelessly, but she didn't see the promotions or recognition she expected. She started panicking. She questioned whether she was good enough. She wondered if all her hard work was wasted. But I told her, a patience over panic. Keep doing the work. Keep learning. Keep improving. Trust that your effort will pay off. And she did. Slowly but surely, she gained recognition. She developed her skills. She built her network. And eventually, she achieved a level of success that far exceeded what she imagined. That's the power of patience. Panic only delays progress. Patience accelerates. Let me also talk about mindset. Panic comes from fear. Fear of failure, fear of missing out, fear of not achieving your goals. And when you let fear dictate your actions, you make mistakes. You act impulsively. You abandon strategies that are actually working, but patience comes from confidence. Confidence in your effort, confidence in your process, confidence in your ability to grow. Patience allows you to navigate challenges calmly, strategically, and deliberately. And that is why patience over panic is one of the most powerful mindsets you can develop. I want you to understand that patience does not mean doing nothing. Patience means taking consistent, deliberate action while trusting that the results will come. It means showing up every day, doing the work, learning from your mistakes, improving your skills, and staying committed even when the outcome is not immediately visible. That's how great achievements are made. That is how long-term success is built. Panic, on the other hand, leads to inconsistency, mistakes, and missed opportunities. Patience is strength. Panic is weakness. Let's consider another example. Think about an investor in the stock market. They invest wisely, do their research, and choose solid companies. But the market doesn't move immediately in their favor. If they panic, they sell their investments too soon, locking in losses, abandoning long-term growth. But if they have patience, if they trust their strategy and hold steady, their investments grow over time. Patience allows for compound growth, and that compound growth is what builds wealth. Panic destroys it. Life works the same way. Trust, patience, and consistency will always outperform panic, rush, and impulsiveness. I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Where have you panicked? Where have you rushed because you didn't see immediate results? Where have you let fear take control and make decisions for you? I'm asking you to stop that today. Stop letting panic dictate your choices. Start practicing patience. Trust the process. Keep showing up. Keep working. Keep learning. Your efforts are not wasted. Your time is not wasted. Your discipline is not wasted. Everything you do compounds over time, and patience allows you to see the results. Another critical point is that patience over panic builds resilience. Life will always test you. Challenges, obstacles, setbacks, and failures are inevitable. And if you panic every time something goes wrong, you will be knocked off course repeatedly. But if you cultivate patience, if you learn to stay calm and deliberate in the face of adversity, you develop resilience. You become stronger. You become more capable. You learn to navigate difficulties without losing focus. And over time, that resilience becomes a superpower. Patience over panic is not just about waiting. It's about thriving under pressure. I want to share one more story. I knew an athlete who was trying to make it to the professional level. He trained hard every day, but his friends and peers were getting noticed faster. He started panicking. He wanted to rush to do more to prove himself. And for a while, that panic led to burnout and mistakes. But he learned to shift his mindset. He learned patience over panic. He focused on perfecting his skills, improving his fitness, learning from every failure, and trusting his journey. Eventually, he reached the professional level. Not because he rushed, not because he panicked, but because he was patient and persistent. That's the lesson for all of us. Patience over panic wins every time. Let's talk about long-term vision. Panic makes you short-sighted. Panic makes you focus on immediate results instead of sustainable progress. Panic makes you chase quick wins instead of building a strong foundation. But patience allows you to see the bigger picture. Patience allows you to plan, strategize, and execute in a way that ensures lasting success. The person who practices patience builds a life, a career, and a legacy. The person who panics achieves temporary results that rarely last. Patience over panic is the key to enduring success. I want you to remember that life is a marathon, not a sprint. Success is not a single moment. It's the accumulation of effort, learning discipline, and perseverance over time. Panic makes you sprint when you should pace yourself. Panic makes you chase the wrong things, take the wrong risks, and burn out. Patience allows you to move deliberately, strategically, and effectively. Patience ensures that every step you take is aligned with your long-term vision. And over time, that deliberate, patient effort produces results that far exceed what panic could ever achieve. Finally, let me leave you with this truth. Patience over panic is not easy, but it is necessary. You will face moments when you feel stuck, when results are slow, when the pressure is intense, when others seem ahead. And in those moments, remember to breathe, to focus, to trust the process. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep learning, keep improving. Because panic only slows you down, while patience accelerates you toward your goals. The greatest achievements in life are never the result of panic. They are the result of patience, perseverance, and persistence over time. So today I challenge you, commit to patience. Let go of panic. Trust that your efforts, your consistency, and your dedication will pay off. Take the next step, the next action, the next disciplined move. Keep showing up, even when you don't see immediate results. Because in the end, patience over panic is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Stay calm, stay focused, stay consistent. Your results are coming. Your breakthrough is on its way. And when it arrives, you'll realize that every moment of patience was worth it. I want to talk to you about something that separates those who achieve greatness from those who stay stuck in mediocrity. Effort outlasts excuses. Every day, people make excuses. They blame circumstances. They blame others. They blame themselves. They blame the system. They blame the economy. They blame the timing. I can't because of this. I can't because of that. If only this were different. If only that were easier. And while they are busy making excuses, life keeps moving. Opportunities keep passing by. Goals keep slipping away. Success waits for no one. Excuses are comfortable, but they will never produce results. Effort, relentless effort, outlasts excuses every single time. I want you to understand something important. Excuses are easy. Effort is hard. Effort takes discipline. Effort takes sweat. Effort takes focus. Effort requires showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when the circumstances aren't perfect, even when the odds are stacked against you. Excuses are the easy way out. They feel good in the moment because they protect your ego, because they save you from discomfort, because they justify why you didn't try. But here's the thing, comfort never leads to growth. Excuses never lead to success. Effort always does. Effort outlasts excuses. Let me give you an example. Think about an athlete preparing for a championship. Every morning they wake up early, sometimes before the sun rises, to train. They push their body, their mind, their spirit. And every day there are reasons not to show up. It's too cold, too hot, too rainy, too early, too late. And yet they show up. They put in the effort. They don't make excuses. That's why champions are champions are champions. They understand that effort outlasts excuses. And while other people are making excuses, they are taking steps toward greatness. Now let's bring it closer to home. Maybe you want to start a business, write a book, get fit, improve your grades, or achieve a personal goal. Every day, life will give you reasons not to act. There will be distractions, obstacles, and setbacks. There will be moments when it's easier to justify why you can't do it. But if you let those excuses dictate your actions, nothing will change. If you show up, put in the effort, and stay consistent, results will come. Effort outlasts excuses. That is the reality of life. I want to tell you a story about a young man I knew. He grew up in a neighborhood where opportunities were limited, where people expected him to fail, where the odds were stacked against him. He could have made 1,000 excuses. He could have blamed his environment, his family, his resources, or his circumstances, and yet he didn't. Every day, he worked, he studied, he trained, he sacrificed, and over time, his effort paid off. He achieved success that nobody expected. Why? Because effort outlasts excuses. While others were making excuses, he was putting in the work. And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. Let me also talk about mindset. Excuses come from a mindset of limitation. They come from fear, from doubt, from self-pity. Effort comes from a mindset of possibility. It comes from belief in yourself, belief in your goals, and belief in your ability to overcome obstacles. When you adopt a mindset of effort, you start looking for solutions instead of reasons why something won't work. You start taking action instead of waiting for the perfect conditions. You start building progress, step by step, day by day. Effort outlasts excuses because effort creates results, and results create momentum. I want you to understand that effort is not always glamorous. Effort is not always celebrated. Effort doesn't always feel good in the moment. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. But that's exactly why it outlasts excuses. Because excuses are fleeting. They are temporary. They give you comfort today, but they steal you tomorrow. Effort may feel hard, but it builds strength, resilience, and progress. Effort may be uncomfortable, but it leads to results, opportunity, and breakthroughs. And over time, effort will always outlast excuses because it is real, it is tangible, and it creates lasting impact. Let me give you another example. Think about a writer. They want to publish a book, but they don't feel inspired every day. Some days they are tired. Some days life is busy. Some days it feels easier to watch TV, scroll social media, or sleep in. And yet, the writer who puts in the effort every day, who writes a little bit even when they don't feel like it, who pushes through the resistance, will finish the book. They will achieve their goal. Why? Because effort outlasts excuses. The person who waits for inspiration or the perfect moment will never finish. The person who excuses themselves out of action will never achieve their dream. Effort is what creates results, not comfort, not excuses. I also want to address setbacks. Life will always challenge you. There will be failures, disappointments, and obstacles. And in those moments, excuses become tempting. It's too hard. I can't do it. Maybe I'm not meant to succeed, but effort doesn't give up. Effort pushes through. Effort finds a way. Effort adapts, learns, and keeps going. That's why effort outlasts excuses. It doesn't quit. Excuses quit. Effort persists, and persistence is what creates success. Think about it in the context of relationships. Maybe you want to build stronger connections, mend a friendship, or improve your communication. You can make excuses. I don't have time. They won't understand. It's too complicated. But if you put in the effort, if you reach out, if you listen, if you act with intention, relationships grow. Effort outlasts excuses. The same principle applies in every area of life: career, health, personal growth, education, finances. The moment you stop making excuses and start putting in the effort, you change the trajectory of your life. Let's also talk about discipline. Effort is born from discipline. Discipline is the ability to show up, do the work, and stay consistent, even when you don't feel like it. Excuses are born from laziness, fear, and self-doubt. The person who exercises discipline, who cultivates the habit of effort, who commits to daily progress, will always surpass those who rely on excuses. Discipline allows effort to outlast excuses because it creates structure, focus, and momentum. Without discipline, effort is inconsistent. But with discipline, effort becomes unstoppable. I want you to understand the compounding effect of effort. Every small action, every extra step, every minute of focused work adds up. It may not feel significant in the moment, but over days, weeks, months, and years, it creates extraordinary results. The person who excuses themselves out of action never experiences that compounding effect. The person who puts in effort consistently, no matter how small, builds momentum, skill, and progress that others cannot match. Effort outlasts excuses because it compounds and excuses dissipate. Let me give you a story from the world of business. A young entrepreneur had a vision for a startup. Every day he faced challenges, funding issues, competition, long hours, setbacks. He could have made excuses. It's too risky. It's too risky. I don't have enough money. I'll start later. But he didn't. He put in the effort, worked tirelessly, learned from failures, and adapted his strategy. Over time, his startup grew into a successful company. Why? Because effort outlasts excuses. Excuses are temporary, fleeting, and comfortable. Effort is enduring, transformative, and powerful. I also want to remind you that effort builds confidence. Every time you act, every time you push through, every time you refuse to make excuses, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You prove that you have what it takes to overcome obstacles, to achieve goals, to handle challenges. Confidence grows through effort, not excuses. And that confidence fuels further effort, creating a positive cycle of growth and achievement. Excuses destroy confidence because they keep you in a state of inaction and self-doubt. Effort builds it because it creates progress and results. Now think about health and fitness. Maybe you want to lose weight, build strength, or improve your endurance. You can make excuses. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll start tomorrow. Or you could put in the effort, even if it's just a short workout, a healthy meal, or a small change in your routine. Over time, those efforts accumulate and you see transformation. Effort outlasts excuses because it creates real, measurable progress. Excuses only delay, stall, and ultimately prevent growth. I want you to understand this. Effort is always rewarded, even if not immediately. Every action, every push, every step forward contributes to your journey. Excuses may feel good in the moment, but they leave you stuck, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Effort may be hard, uncomfortable, and challenging, but it always pays off. That is why I say again and again, effort outlasts excuses every time in every situation without fail. Let's talk about the power of mindset one more time. When you focus on effort, you adopt a mindset of responsibility and ownership. You take control of your life. You stop blaming external circumstances. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop expecting life to give you what you want without work. Effort creates results because it is intentional, deliberate, and focused. Excuses create stagnation because they are reactive, passive, and comfortable. The mindset of effort transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Finally, let me leave you with this truth. The only thing standing between you and your goal is the effort you are willing to put in versus the excuses you are willing to stop making. The moment you choose effort over excuses, your life changes. The moment you stop rationalizing why you can and start acting on why you must, momentum builds. The moment you embrace effort as your lifestyle, doors open, opportunities emerge, and results manifest. Effort outlasts excuses because effort endures. Excuses fade. Effort persists. Excuses dissolve. Effort transforms. Excuses stagnate. So today, I challenge you. Identify one area you've been making excuses. Identify one goal that you've been rationalizing away. Now commit to putting in the effort no matter what. Show up. Do the work. Keep going, even when it's hard. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it feels like nobody's watching. Because effort outlasts excuses. And your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of action. Commit to effort, embrace it fully, and watch how your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Let's talk about something that holds so many people back in life. Progress, not perfection. I need you to hear me loud and clear. Too many people are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of themselves before they take action. And while they wait, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass them by. Goals are delayed. Dreams remain unfulfilled. Perfection is an illusion, and chasing it will paralyze you. Progress, however, real, consistent progress is achievable, sustainable and transformative. If you focus on progress, you will move forward every day. Perfection is a trap. Progress is freedom. Progress is power. Think about it. You want to start a business, but you think your idea isn't perfect yet. You want to write a book, but you think your draft isn't good enough. You want to get fit, but you think you're too weak, too out of shape, too inexperienced. And so you wait. You wait for the right moment. You wait for the perfect plan. You wait for motivation to strike. But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There's no perfect moment. There is no perfect you. What exists is this moment right now and the power to take action today. Progress starts where perfection ends. Let me give you an example from sports. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, did not become perfect overnight. He missed shots. He lost games. He was cut from his high school team. He made mistakes. He failed again and again. But he focused on progress. Every practice, every game, every mistake was an opportunity to improve, to learn, to get better. He didn't wait to be perfect before he stepped on the court. He embraced progress. And that is what made him legendary. The lesson is simple. Perfection kills progress, but progress leads to mastery. Now let's talk about mindset. The pursuit of perfection often comes from fear, failure, judgment, fear of being seen as inadequate. And when fear drives you, it paralyzes you. You procrastinate, you overanalyze, you avoid action. But progress requires action. Progress requires moving forward, even when the conditions aren't perfect. Progress means being willing to make mistakes, to fail, to learn, and to keep going. That is how real growth happens. That is how success is built. Progress, not perfection, is the path forward. I want you to understand something crucial. Progress is measurable. Even small steps taken consistently add up to massive change over time. Writing one paragraph a day eventually becomes a book. Exercising for 20 minutes consistently eventually transforms your body. Learning one new concept every day eventually leads to mastery. These small, consistent actions are progress. They are tangible, they are real, and they move you forward. Waiting for perfection means never moving at all. Progress always wins. Let me share a story about a young woman I knew. She wanted to become a professional artist, but she constantly compared her work to others and felt it wasn't perfect. She hesitated to share her art, to take commissions, to practice publicly. And because of that, she stagnated for years. I told her, stop waiting for perfection. Focus on progress. Share your work, learn, improve. Step by step, day by day, you will grow. She took my advice. Slowly, steadily, she improved, gained recognition, and eventually built a successful career. Progress outlasted her fears, her doubts, and her obsession with perfection. That is the power of choosing progress. I want you to understand the difference between progress and perfection is an ideal, an expectation that often cannot be met. It is static, rigid, and unforgiving. Progress is dynamic, achievable, and forgiving. Progress allows mistakes, setbacks, and failures. Progress allows learning, adaptation, and growth. Progress focuses on forward movement, not flawless execution. When you focus on progress, you free yourself from the weight of unrealistic standards. You free yourself to take action, to experiment, to learn, and to grow. Let's bring it closer to everyday life. Maybe you are trying to improve your health. You don't need to run a marathon on day one. You don't need to lift the heaviest weights or follow the strictest diet immediately. Start small. Take consistent steps. Move a little more. Eat a little better. Track your progress. Celebrate small wins. That's how you create lasting change. Waiting for perfection will only leave you frustrated, overwhelmed, and stagnant. Progress, not perfection, is what creates sustainable transformation. I also want to talk about failure. People often equate failure with imperfection. They fear making mistakes because it means they're not perfect. But here's the truth. Failure is a necessary part of progress. Every successful person has failed countless times. Every entrepreneur, athlete, artist, and leader has stumbled, fallen, and made mistakes. The difference is that they focus on progress, not perfection. They learned from failure, adjusted their strategy, and kept moving forward. Failure is feedback, not a verdict. Progress turns failure into a stepping stone, while perfection turns it into a stumbling block. Think about learning a skill. If you want to master a new language, play an instrument, or develop coding skills, waiting for perfect understanding will trap you in analysis paralysis. You need to practice, make mistakes, learn, adjust, and repeat. Progress requires action. It requires putting in the time, effort, and energy even when you feel imperfect. That is how you grow. That is how you improve. That is how you achieve mastery. Progress, not perfection, is the path forward. I want you to understand the importance of consistency. Progress is cumulative. Small, consistent steps taken over time create momentum, build skill, and produce results. Every day you take action, even imperfectly, you are moving forward. Every time you learn, practice, or experiment, you are creating progress. And over time, these small efforts compound into extraordinary achievements. Perfection slows you down because you wait, hesitate, and overthink. Progress propels you forward because it values action over ideal outcomes. Let's talk about mindset again. Progress requires humility. It requires acknowledging that you don't know everything, that you will make mistakes, and that you will learn along the way. Perfection requires ego, the need to appear flawless, the fear of being judged. Humility allows you to take risks, to try new things, and to embrace learning. Humility enables progress, while ego demands perfection and often leads to stagnation. Choose humility. Choose progress. I want you to consider the compounding effect of progress. Imagine writing 1 page a day. That's not perfect. That's not a complete book. But after a month, you have 30 pages. After 3 months, 90 pages. After a year, 365 pages. Small, consistent actions lead to results that are far greater than any single perfect effort. Waiting for perfection means you never start. Progress means you start, and that starting creates momentum that cannot be stopped. I also want to remind you that progress builds confidence. Every time you take action, every time you move forward, every time you learn, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence grows through experience, through progress. Perfection does not build confidence because it is often unattainable, and failure feels catastrophic. Progress builds resilience, competence, and belief in yourself. Progress creates a feedback loop of motivation and achievement. Let's bring it back to practical examples. Maybe you want to improve your career. You want a promotion, a raise, or a new opportunity. Waiting to be perfect. Waiting for the perfect skill set, the perfect timing, the perfect connection will leave you stagnant. Focus on progress. Learn something new every day. Improve your skills incrementally. Network, take risks, and put yourself out there. Step by step, action by action, progress will lead you to your goals. Perfection is a trap. Progress is your path. I also want to talk about creativity. Artists, writers, entrepreneurs, and innovators often struggle with perfectionism. They want every idea to be flawless before they share it with the world. But creativity thrives on experimentation, trial and error, and iteration. Progress embraces imperfection. Progress allows ideas to evolve, improve, and grow. Perfection stifles creativity because it prevents action, prevents experimentation, and prevents growth. Progress is the engine of innovation. Think about it like this. Sculptor does not create a masterpiece in a single strike. They chip away little by little, refining, adjusting, shaping. Each imperfect strike brings them closer to their vision. If they waited for the perfect strike, they would never begin. Life is the same. Your goals, your dreams, your achievements are built through small, imperfect actions repeated consistently. Progress outlasts perfection because it values movement over ideal outcomes, action over hesitation, and results over fear. I want you to understand that progress is liberating. It frees you from the tyranny of perfection. It allows you to move forward despite fear, doubt, and uncertainty. It allows you to learn from mistakes, improve your skills, and achieve your goals. Progress is empowering because it focuses on what you can do today, not what you haven't done yet. Progress gives you momentum. Progress gives you confidence. Progress gives you results. Perfection gives you stagnation. Perfection gives you anxiety. Progress wins every time. Finally, I want to leave you with this truth. Your journey does not require perfection. Your goals do not require flawless execution. Your success does not depend on never making mistakes. What it requires is action, consistency, learning, and growth. Take the next step. Do the next task. Learn the next lesson. Improve a little every day. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. And over time, that progress will transform your life in ways you never imagined it. So today, I challenge you. Stop waiting for perfection. Stop overanalyzing. Stop hesitating. Focus on progress. Take action. Move forward. Learn, improve, repeat. Your consistent effort, your willingness to start imperfectly, and your dedication to forward movement will create results that perfection could never achieve. Progress, not perfection, is the key to success, growth, and fulfillment. Embrace it. Love it. Achieve. Let's talk about something that separates those who achieve extraordinary success from those who never quite reach their potential. Consistency beats motivation. I need you to understand motivation is powerful, but it is temporary. Motivation is like a spark. It lights a fire, but it doesn't keep it burning. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel motivated. Some days you don't. And if you rely solely on motivation, you will start and stop constantly. You'll get bursts of energy followed by days of inactivity. Consistency, however, is the engine that keeps you moving forward, regardless of how you feel. Consistency beats motivation because it creates results that are lasting, predictable, and unstoppable. Think about it. Motivation is like a gust of wind. It can push you forward for a short distance, but it doesn't carry you the whole journey. It is unreliable, unpredictable, and fleeting. Consistency, on the other hand, is like the current of a river. It may not feel as exciting. It may not create a rush. But over time, it carves valleys, shapes mountains, and moves everything in its path. The person who is consistent, even when they don't feel motivated, will always outlast the person who depends on motivation alone. Let me give you an example from sports. A professional athlete doesn't rely on motivation to train. Some days they may not feel like getting out of bed at 5 a.m. Some days they are tired, sore, or distracted. Motivation may be low, but they show up anyway. They train, they practice, they do the work. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. That is why champions are champions. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on consistency. Motivation may light the fire, but consistency keeps it burning and eventually transforms potential into greatness. Now, let's bring it closer to home. Maybe you want to get fit. Maybe you want to improve your career. Maybe you want to learn a new skill. Maybe you want to build a business. Motivation will help you start, but consistency will determine whether you finish. Motivation will give you a burst of energy today, but will you show up tomorrow? Will you put in the work the day after that? Consistency is what separates dreamers from achievers. Consistency beats motivation because it ensures action, regardless of feelings, circumstances, or energy levels. I want you to understand the difference between motivation and consistency. Motivation is emotional. It depends on how you feel. It can be high one day and low the next. Consistency is discipline. Doesn't depend on feelings. It doesn't depend on the circumstances. It doesn't wait for inspiration. Consistency is showing up doing the work and staying committed even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is what turns effort into results, dreams into reality, and goals into achievements. I want to share a story about a young man I knew. He wanted to become a professional musician. Some days he felt inspired, and he practiced with energy and excitement. Other days he felt tired, discouraged, or unmotivated. He realized early on that motivation alone wasn't enough. He committed to consistency. Every day he practiced, even when he didn't feel like it. When he didn't feel like it? Every day he honed his skills, learned new techniques, and pushed himself. Over time, that consistency paid off. He achieved a level of mastery and success that motivation alone could never have given him. That is the power of consistency over motivation. Let's talk about mindset. Relying on motivation creates a reactive mindset. You only act when you feel inspired. You only put in effort when you feel energized. You only work when conditions are perfect. But life doesn't work that way. Life throws obstacles, setbacks, and challenges at you every day. If you wait for motivation, you will be stalled, blocked, and defeated. Consistency, however, builds a proactive mindset. You take control of your actions. You show up regardless of circumstances. You trust the process. You understand that success is the result of repeated actions, not occasional bursts of energy. I want you to understand the compounding effect of consistency. Every action you take, no matter how small, builds on the previous one. Writing one page every day eventually becomes a book. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes every day eventually leads to mastery. Investing a little bit consistently over time eventually creates wealth. Consistency compounds. Motivation does not. Motivation may get you started, but it will not carry you to the finish line. Only consistency has that power. Think about health and fitness. If you only work out when you feel motivated, you will never see lasting results. Some days you will skip. Some days you will overindulge and progress will be inconsistent. But if you commit to consistent effort, showing up every day even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, you will see transformation. You will see transformation. Your body will change, your energy will grow, and your confidence will soar. Consistency beats motivation because it creates results that last. I also want to talk about learning and skill development. If you want to master a craft, motivation will get you excited at first. You'll read a book, watch a tutorial, or attend a class when you feel inspired. But true mastery comes from consistent practice, day after day, week after week, month after month, regardless of how you feel. The person who is consistent, who puts in the work daily, will surpass the person who only acts when motivated. Consistency is the secret weapon of achievers. Let me give you another story. I knew an entrepreneur who wanted to build a business. He had moments of high motivation. He was excited, energized, and inspired, but motivation fluctuated. Some days he felt like giving up. Some days, obstacles made him question his path. What kept him going was consistency. Every day he showed up, worked on his business, learned, adapted, and pushed forward. Over time, his business grew. Motivation lit the initial spark, but consistency carried him through the long, challenging journey. That is how success is built, through daily persistent action. I want you to understand that consistency builds discipline. Motivation alone cannot create habits. Motivation alone cannot sustain effort. But consistency repeated actions taken daily builds habits, routines, and systems that eventually produce results automatically. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement, and consistency is the foundation of discipline. Without consistency, motivation fades and progress stalls. With consistency, motivation is amplified and sustained. Let's talk about setbacks. Life will throw challenges at you. Some days you will fail. Some days you will be tired. Some days you will feel defeated. Motivation is unreliable in those moments. You may feel too low to act. You may feel too discouraged to continue. But consistency keeps you moving. Even small actions repeated over time maintain momentum. Consistency outlasts motivation because it is rooted in commitment, not in emotion. It is action-based, not feeling-based. I also want you to consider the long-term perspective. Motivation may carry you for a few days or weeks, but consistency determines your long-term success. The person who shows up every day, even when it's hard, even when they don't feel like it, builds skill, momentum, and progress that is unstoppable. The person who depends on motivation only works in bursts and burns out quickly. Consistency is what creates legacies, builds careers, and transforms lives. Think about your career. You want a promotion, a raise, or recognition. We'll get you excited at first. You'll work harder for a few days. But consistent effort, showing up every day, doing your best, improving incrementally, and building relationships creates results that last. Consistency beats motivation every time. I want you to understand that consistency builds credibility and trust. People notice those who are reliable, dependable, and persistent. Colleagues, clients, mentors, and leaders respect those who show up consistently. Motivation alone doesn't build reputation. It is inconsistent, unpredictable, and unreliable. Consistency communicates dedication, reliability, and professionalism. Consistency beats motivation because it creates results and relationships that endure. Let's bring it back to personal growth. You want to improve as a person, learn new skills, or develop better habits. Motivation may get you started, reading a book, attending a seminar, or meditating for a few days. But without consistency, those efforts fade. Daily, deliberate action repeated over time is what creates lasting change. Consistency compound, motivation is fleeting. Choose consistency. Trust the process. Embrace daily growth. I also want to remind you that consistency overcomes obstacles. Life will always present challenges, health issues, financial struggles, personal setbacks, external pressures. Motivation may fail in those moments. You may feel too tired, too frustrated, or too overwhelmed to act. But consistent action, even small steps, keeps you moving forward. Consistency beats motivation because it is not dependent on how you feel or what life throws at you. It persists, it adapts, and it delivers results over time. Finally, I want to leave you with this truth. Motivation is temporary. Feelings are unreliable, and energy fluctuates. The person who succeeds is not the one who feels motivated every day. They are the one who shows up, does the work, and remains consistent no matter what. Consistency builds skill, momentum, resilience, and results. Consistency compounds, creates habits, and turns action into achievement. Motivation may start the journey, but consistency finishes it. Consistency beats motivation because it endures, it sustains, and it produces results that last a lifetime. So today, I challenge you, commit to consistency. Show up every day. Do the work, even when you don't feel like it. Take small steps, repeat it over time. Build habits, routines, and discipline. Oh, kick your mom. Trust that your consistent effort will compound, produce results, and transform your life. Motivation may come and go, but consistency will carry you to your goals, your dreams, and your breakthrough. Make consistency your lifestyle and watch your life change in ways you never imagined. As we come to the conclusion of this journey, I want you to stop for a moment and truly reflect on everything we've discussed. Think about the lessons, the principles, the truths that have been laid out before you. I want you to understand that life, success, and greatness are not instantaneous. They are not the result of luck, shortcuts, or one magical moment. Life rewards the people who show up. Life rewards the people who put in the work. Life rewards the people who are willing to embrace discipline, to face discomfort, and to push through when no one is watching. All of these keynotes, slow still counts. Focus on fundamental small wins, patience over panic, effort outlasts excuses, progress not perfection, consistency beats motivation. They are all interconnected. They all are part of the same equation. They all point to one undeniable truth. Your destiny is not determined by luck or timing. It is determined by the effort, focus, and persistence you put in every single day. Let me start with the first principle. Slow still counts. So many of you are in a hurry. You want everything now. You want instant result, overnight transformations, fast money, quick recognition. And when you don't see immediate results, you feel defeated. You doubt yourself. You question your path. But the truth is, life moves at its own pace. Growth, achievement, and success all take time. Slow is not failure. Slow is progress. Every step you take, even if it seems small, is moving you closer to your goal. Every effort you make, every decision to keep going, every moment you choose to persist counts. Don't let impatience rob you of the growth that only time can produce. The journey is as important as the destination. The process is as vital as the outcome. Slow still counts. And the day you fully embrace that truth, you will stop comparing yourself to others. And you will start focusing on your own path. Next, focus on the fundamental. Too often, people get distracted by the flashy, the complicated, or the latest trend. They chase advanced strategies, complex plans, or shortcuts, forgetting that greatness is built on a foundation of fundamentals. Excellence in any field requires mastery of the basics. Whether you're an athlete, a student, an entrepreneur, or an artist, you must first learn the core skills, the essential principles, the foundational habits. Focus on the fundamentals consistently, because without a strong foundation, every effort you make is unstable. Every goal you pursue is fragile. Every dream you chase is at risk of collapse. The fundamentals are not glamorous, but they are powerful. They are the silent engines behind every success story. The invisible roots that hold up the tallest trees, and the unseen force behind every championship, every breakthrough, every accomplishment. Then we talked about small wins. Progress is not always dramatic. Achievement is not always explosive. Most of the time, success is built incrementally, one small victory at a time. Every small win matters. Every little action counts. Every decision to stay disciplined, to push through, to take one more step, compounds over time. The power of small wins is that they create momentum. They build confidence. They reinforce belief. And when you string them together consistently, they become unstoppable. You don't have to make huge leaps every day. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to dominate immediately. Focus on small wins. Celebrate them. Let them drive you forward. Because over time, the accumulation of these small wins transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Patience over panic is another principle that cannot be overstated. Life will not always move at your pace. Results will not always appear when you want them to. The moment you panic, the moment you rush, the moment you try to force outcomes, you lose your power. Panic leads to mistakes, poor decisions, and wasted energy. Patience, on the other hand, allows you to trust the process, stay disciplined, and continue showing up, even when you cannot see the finish line. Patience is active. Patience is deliberate. Patience is the steady hand that guides you through the storms of life. When you cultivate patience, you gain clarity. You gain focus. You gain the ability to make better decisions, to take calculated risks, and to maintain momentum without sabotaging yourself. Remember, life does not reward panic. It rewards patience. Effort outlasts excuses. This is a principle that should shake you to your core. Excuses are everywhere. You will always find reasons not to act. You will always find justifications for why you didn't succeed, why you didn't try harder, why life is unfair. And while excuses may feel good in the moment, they achieve nothing. Effort, relentless, consistent effort is the only thing that produces results. Effort does not wait for the perfect conditions. Effort does not depend on feelings or circumstances. Effort shows up every day ready to work, ready to learn, ready to grow. No matter what life throws at you, no matter how many obstacles appear, effort will always outlast excuses. It is the great equalizer. The person who chooses effort over excuses will always progress, while the person who clings to excuses will remain stagnant. Progress, not perfection. So many people are trapped in the illusion that they must be flawless to succeed. They wait for the perfect timing, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of themselves. But perfection is a mirage. It is unattainable. And while you wait for perfection, life passes you by. Progress is tangible. Progress is achievable. Progress is what builds momentum, confidence, and results. Every step forward, no matter how imperfect, moves you closer to your goals. Every mistake, every failure, every lesson learned is part of progress. Stop letting perfection paralyze you. Focus on progress. Embrace it. Celebrate it. Allow it to guide you forward. Progress is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Consistency beats motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Some days you feel energized, inspired, unstoppable. Other days you feel tired, overwhelmed, or defeated. Motivation is unreliable. Consistency, however, is unshakable. Consistency is showing up every day, doing the work, taking the next step, regardless of how you feel. Consistency builds habits, disciplines, and systems that produce results automatically. It compounds. It transforms small actions into massive achievements over time. The person who is consistent, who puts in effort daily, even without motivation, will always outlast the person who waits for inspiration. Consistency is the key. It is the engine that drives success. As we weave all of these principles together, you begin to see the pattern. Slow still counts. Focus on fundamentals, small wins. Patience over panic. Effort outlasts excuses. Progress, not perfection. Consistency beats motivation. They're all connected. They form a roadmap for success, a blueprint for personal growth, a formula for achievement. They are not secrets. They are not shortcuts. They are the timeless truths that every successful person has followed, whether they are an athlete, entrepreneur, leader, or our artist. And the beauty of these principles is that they are available to you right now. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need luck. You need commitment, focus, and action. I want you to understand something. Life is not about perfection. Life is not about the end result alone. Life is about showing up. Life is about effort. Life is about resilience. Life is about the accumulation of small actions, compounded over time, guided by patience, fueled by effort, and sustained by consistency. Every day you make a choice, whether to act or to remain stagnant, whether to push forward or to give up, whether to focus on progress or to chase perfection. Those choices determine your future. Those choices determine your destiny. Those choices determine whether you achieve greatness or settle for mediocrity. And here's the truth. Greatness is not a destination. It's a journey. It is not a single moment. It is a series of moments, choices, actions, and efforts compounded over time. Every time you embrace slow progress, you build resilience. Every time you focus on fundamentals, you build mastery. Every time you celebrate small wins, you build momentum. Every time you practice patience over panic, you build clarity and wisdom. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you build strength and character. Every time you prioritize progress over perfection, you unlock potential. Every time you remain consistent despite lack of motivation, you build unstoppable momentum. Greatness is built one action, one choice, one day at a time. I want you to leave here today with a new perspective. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. Start where you are. Start now. Take the next step. Do the work today. Show up consistently. Focus on the fundamentals. Celebrate every small win. Be patient with the process. Outlast excuses. Embrace progress over perfection. Trust that your effort, repeated daily, will compound into results beyond your imagination. Your future is built in these moments. Your destiny is shaped by the actions you take, not by the feelings you wait for. I also want you to understand that setbacks are inevitable. Challenges are unavoidable. Life will test you, push you, and try to break you. And when it does, these principles will carry you. Slow still counts. Focus on fundamentals, small wins matter. Patience over panic will guide you. Effort will outlast excuses. Progress, not perfection, will propel you. Consistency beats motivation. These are not just words. They are lifelines. They are tools. They are weapons in the battle for your dreams. They are the principles that ensure that no matter what life throws at you, you will continue to move forward, grow, and achieve. So I challenge you today, commit to your journey. Commit to the process. Commit to the daily work, the small wins, the consistent actions, and the patient effort. Commit to focusing on progress over perfection. Commit to effort over excuses. Commit to consistency over fleeting motivation. Decide today that you will no longer be controlled by your feelings, by circumstances, or by fear. Decide today that you will take ownership of your life, your goals, and your destiny. Decide today that you will show up, no matter what, every single day. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You begin to see the compound effect of your effort. You begin to notice small wins stacking into larger victories. You begin to recognize growth, skill, and mastery accumulating in ways that feel almost magical. You begin to realize that every step forward, no matter how small, matters. You begin to understand that slow still counts and progress is unstoppable. You begin to feel the power of patience, the strength of effort, the momentum of consistency. You begin to see your own potential, and you begin to understand that your dreams are not just possible. They are inevitable if you continue to act, to persist, and to believe. Remember, nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth achieving is instantaneous. The road will be long. The journey will be challenging. But the reward is greater than the struggle. And the person who embraces these principles, slow still counts. Focus on fundamentals, small wins, patience over panic, effort outlasts excuses, progress not perfection. Consistency beats motivation. We'll reach heights that those who seek shortcuts, quick fixes, or perfect conditions will never see. Success, greatness, and fulfillment belong to those who are willing to do the work, day in and day out, without relying on motivation or waiting for perfection. So go forward from this moment with clarity, with purpose, with determination. Take one more step today. Take one more step tomorrow. Take the next small action, the next consistent choice, the next disciplined move, and continue to do this until you have transformed your life, achieved your goals, and become the person you were born to be. Slow still counts. Focus on fundamentals. Celebrate small wins. Practice patience. Outlast excuses. Value progress over perfection. Be consistent. If you live by these principles, if you internalize them, if you act on them daily, your breakthrough is not just possible, it is inevitable. Your life is your responsibility. Your future is in your hands. The choice is yours. You can continue waiting for motivation, waiting for perfection, waiting for the right moment, waiting for someone else to validate you. Or you can take action now, consistently, patiently, deliberately, focusing on progress, mastering the fundamentals, celebrating every small win, and outlasting every excuse. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. That's how dreams become reality. That is how potential becomes greatness. So I'll leave you with this final call. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Don't panic. Don't chase perfection. Show up. Work hard. Be patient. Be consistent. Make progress every single day. Your life, your dream, true success, and your destiny are waiting on the other side of your effort. Commit now and step into the life you were meant to live.